How are you? Hope you're well. Today, I've literally been thinking about doing this video since starting this channel, so I've been so excited for it. But today, I'm going to be tier ranking every book that I have read this year, and by this year, I mean 2023. It is currently the 2nd of January as I'm filming this, so I'm still not in the habit of saying this year is 2024, but it's fine. I will be tier ranking every book I read in 2023, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and move over to my desk. If the background is not as pretty as usual, please forgive me, but my desk is in a weird space because our apartment is very small. So I will see you over there. So basically how I have these tiers set up is the first tier is I need this book like I need oxygen, which basically means that it's one of my favorites. I am absolutely obsessed. I think about it nearly every single day. And the next we have I love this. So this is more so I really loved it. It's very close to being a favorite, or it's a favorite, but it's not as much of a favorite as the tier above, but it's a very well loved book. I very much enjoyed my time with it. Next we have What a Fun Read, which is like I enjoyed my time with it, but it's not a favorite. It's not something that I think about every day. It's maybe not the best written in my opinion, but I still had a good time reading it. Then right below that we have It Was Fine, which is like it wasn't really great, but I didn't hate it either. It was just like it was fine, you know? And then there is I Forgot That I Read This, which is books I really didn't like, and as soon as I put it down, straight out my brain, didn't even remember that I read this. And then the final tier is I Wish I Could Forget That I Read This, which is basically books that I really did not enjoy and kind of wish that I could forget that I read that. I want to erase it from my memory. And then as you can see, the books down below, they are not in order and the series aren't together, so we're just gonna take them as they come, and just keep in mind that this is not in order of how I read them, series aren't together, whatever. And then finally, I will not be ranking them within the tiers itself. They're just gonna go wherever I put them. The only ranking is the actual tiers, so if the one is first and then there's one lost, that's not ranking with it. But let's get started. So the first book is Gloss Sword, and I'm just gonna be blunt, that one is going straight in I Wish I Could Forget I Read This. I really didn't like it. It was just not great in my opinion. So next we have Hush Hush, and I think I'm gonna put this in What a Fun Read because I definitely picked that one up for nostalgia purposes. I read this one as a kid and then I wanted to finish the series, so it was a fun time, but wasn't the best book I'd ever read. And then A Court of Silver Flames, I'm going to actually put it with It Was Fine. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I just didn't enjoy it that much, and genuinely I think it might be higher the next time I read it, but the first time I read it just wasn't that big of a fan. Next, The Air. I believe that is book 4 in the selection series, and I quite enjoyed this. I'm gonna put it with It Was a Fun Read. I think the entire series is probably gonna end up in that. Crescendo, which is book 2 in the Hush Hush series, I'm gonna say it was fine because I didn't forget I read it, but also was not. Hush Hush really was the only book that I actually enjoyed. The rest of them was a little painful. So, and then the selection, like I said, they're all just gonna go in What a Fun Read because I genuinely just had such a great time with them. And then Silence is next, so we're just gonna go ahead and put that with It Was Fine as well. Ooh. So next we have Eclipse and technically Breaking Dawn, since they're next to each other from the Twilight Saga. In all honesty, the actual books were just fine. However, I love the movie so much that I want to put it higher, but we're not ranking the movies, we're ranking the books. So I think both Eclipse and Breaking Dawn has to go in It Was Fine. And same with Finale as well. They were all just fine. I'm seeing a trend right now, and I'm worried that this is just gonna be an It Was Fine section. But never lie, I loved this book so much. It is one of my favorite mystery thrillers that I've ever read. And yeah, The Locked Door by Frida McFadden, I do have to say, I think that one was a fun read. It was one of those reads where I didn't enjoy it that much when reading it. so I put it on a lower ranking, but I think about it quite often. But I still feel What a Fun Read is the best ranking for it. And then same with Want to Know a Secret. This one got a lower rating, I think, because I had some issues with it. However, overall, it was still a really fun read. Most of her reads are just in the What a Fun Time section because it's just fun. Twisted Love. I think I'm going to put this with It Was Fine because what a book that was. I don't have words for it. New Moon. We're just gonna go straight to New Moon. That's going with It Was Fine too. It's Twilight, you know? Love Theoretically. I loved this book. It was so much fun. I was listening to it and I had to stop listening to it and go buy the physical and read it because I love it. Most of Ali Hazelwood's books are hits for me. I think there's only been like 1.5 misses so far. So I really loved it. The Elite, that's another book in the selection series that is going straight to What a Fun Read. And then next we have Heartless by Marissa Meyer, which that one, I didn't love it. I enjoyed my time with it, so I want to say What a Fun Read, but if you've read it, it's not a fun read. So I'm gonna put it with What a Fun Read because I did like it. It was more than fine, but less than I love this. But please keep in mind, not a fun read. The House Across the Lake. I think about this book every single day almost. I need it like oxygen. It was insane. I read it in October, and what a perfect book this was for spooky season. I really enjoyed it. The only thing that I have to say about this book is just go with it. Then we have this one. I don't even remember the name. So it's a sequel to These Witches Don't Burn, but I don't even remember the name of this book and it is too small for me to read right now. So that's gonna go with I Forgot I Read This. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I'm gonna put it with It Was Fine because I don't forget it. Well, no, I don't hate it that much. So it was fine. I was actually very disappointed by it. So that was unfortunate. Check and Mate. I think I gave this 4 stars and I really loved reading it, but I haven't really thought of it since, so I think I'm gonna put it with the What a Fun Read tier because it just did not impact me really that much, so I wouldn't say that I loved it that much. Back in a Spell. This one's weird because I remember enjoying it so much, but actually thinking about it right now, I don't remember the plot that much and I do have to reread like the entire series essentially, so I'm confused on where to put this one. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put it with I Forgot I Read This, but with a little asterisk that I'm gonna reread them, and I really do love this series. I really do love it, but I genuinely forget that I read this year, so it has to go in that tier, very unfortunately. But it's highly rated and I do love the series, so just please keep that in mind. Next, Mysteries of Thorn Manor, obvious. Top tier. I need this book like I need oxygen. Think about this series every single day. Very annoying about it. If you've watched any of my videos, then you know. Serpent and the Wings of Night. I truly did love this book a lot. I think I gave it 4 or more stars, which is why The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King was such a disappointment. So love it. Foxglove, I love this. It was so good, genuinely. And should we just do Belladonna, because I love that as well, so we might as well just put that with over there. There we go. So both of those, Belladonna and Foxglove, I loved. Really good. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Next is Haunting and Issues Guide to Fake Dating. I actually really did enjoy this one, so I'm gonna put it with What a Fun Time. It was a part of my Pride Reads for Pride Month video, and this was one of my favorites from that video. It was just a fun, good old time. A Flicker in the Dark. I'm gonna say it was fine. Was not my favorite by any means, but you know. And then Book Lovers, I'm also gonna say it was fine. I love Emily Henry to pieces. I just genuinely don't think that Book Lovers is a book for me. I do want to reread it within the next 2 years one more time because I listened both times and I do think that that was a bad choice. But as of right now, it was in the It Was Fine video. Tier, not video. Speaking of which, rereads are also in this tier list. It is every book that I read and finished. No DNFs are in this. So, The Stolen Heir. I need to reread this before the sequel comes out. I did not pay attention as much as I should have, so I think I'm just gonna put it with It Was Fine for this round. However, when I reread it this year along with its sequel, I have the anticipation that it'll be higher. I really love the Cruel Prince trilogy, so I'm hoping that it'll be higher, but as of right now, I didn't pay attention. I didn't forget that I read it, but I completely forgot what it was about, so yeah. Next we have Happy Place. I'm gonna put this in I loved it. I also listened to the audiobook for this one, and I have learned this year that Emily Henry and audiobooks for me do not go together. I need to physically read her book, so I need to physically reread this year. I'm very excited to do that, genuinely, but for right now I'm just gonna put it in I loved it, because since I don't remember that much of it, I don't think I can put it with I need this book like I need oxygen. From the jump, what a fun read. It was nice being back home mentally. And then See You Yesterday, I'm also gonna put this with what a fun read. I'm normally not a time loop girly, but this was quite fun. Lizzie Blake's Best Mistake. I forget that I read this. Thank God. Didn't like it. That's all I'm gonna say. People We Meet on Vacation. It was fine, along with Book Lovers. I did enjoy my time with it, but I wouldn't reread it. And if I didn't already own it and I like borrowed it from the library, I don't think I would want a physical copy of it at all. It was just okay. But I made an entire video about that one, so you can go check that out. Big Little Spells. I'm gonna say what a fun read, but if you watch my Halloween video, you know my gripes with it, and they're kind of big gripes. So next we have The Bridge Kingdom. I don't know where to put this one because I really enjoyed it, and then I didn't, and then I did, and it kind of just like depends on my mood what I think of it. But I do want to reread it. Like, I'm in the mood to reread it now. I don't know. It's a really great summer fantasy, and I believe there's 3 out of 4 books out, or 4 books out. I'm not entirely sure, but the first 2 books you can read as a completed duology because it switches point of views for book 3. So I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna put it with what a fun read, and I will do the same for its sequel, The Trace Your Queen. Overall, it was just a good time. Dream On. I really enjoyed my time with this book, so I'm gonna put it with what a fun read. And then next we have The Night Will Find You. I'm gonna say it was fine. This was one of those books where I can recognize that it's a good book, however, it's just not a book for me. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. What a fun time. Really enjoyed it. Very excited to reread it and read the sequel this year. In Charm's Way. I'm gonna say it was fine. Not the book's fault. Like I said in my Halloween video, I didn't remember this series that much, and I needed to read this. I just need to reread this whole Thistle Grove series. You Deserve Each Other. This is another one of my favorites, so I'm gonna put it with I love this. I don't want to put it in the top tier because I don't think about it that much. Like, it's not a favorite, but I really do love this. Beach Read. I'm gonna put this with I loved it as well because, again, another favorite. Love it so much. But it's just, this is my favorite Emily Henry book by far, but it's just not fully and I need it like oxygen, you know? Like, it's almost there, but I don't think about it every day. I think maybe once a week, once a month, that type of thing. It happened one summer. I'm gonna put this with, it was fun. It was a fun time. I enjoyed it. Same thing with Light Lark. Really loved it. So that goes up there. A Court of Wings and Ruin. Do we really need to talk about this? It goes with I need this book like oxygen. It's my one of my favorite series. Cursed. I'm gonna put this with what a fun read. I really enjoyed my time with this duology. Go ahead and put Gilded in there as well. There we go. Really enjoy both of those. Court and Mist and Fury. Don't even need to talk about it. I need this book like I need oxygen. Better Than the Movies. It was a really fun time. I really loved it. I had quite high expectations going into this because I heard so many good things. However, I was a little let down by it, but it's not like the worst thing ever. It's just kind of like didn't live up to my expectations, but I still had a great time. The Writing Retreat, that was a really fun read, but I did have to switch to audio because there's a little bit of like ghost stories happening in the book, and that freaked me out a lot because I am a weenie and I get scared very easily, which is why I don't read horror. A Court of Thorns and Roses. I love this. It's not my favorite like these two, but I really did love it. And then These Witches Don't Burn. It was fine. It was just fine. Nothing to say about that. The Crown. What a fun read. She Gets the Girl. I enjoyed this. However, like I mentioned in my Pride Reads for Pride Month video, it didn't live up to the love that I have for The Lucky List, which I read last year. And there were also just some things in it that hit too close for home for me, I guess you could say. So it was like bittersweet reading it. So I think I'm going to put it with, it's like between What a Fun Read and It Was Fine, but I think I'll put it with What a Fun Read purely because it's a very cute book. A Court of Frost and Starlight. It was fine. I don't think it's necessary to read at all, but you know, The Love Hypothesis. I love this. That's one of my favorite books. It was a reread. The Housemaid with Every Other Frida. It's gonna go with What a Fun Read. And you know what? So is its sequel. Let's just put them together. Make it easy. There we go. Next we have A Curse for True Love. I love this. I really love this. I do agree with a lot of the other reviews that it could have been more fleshed out. However, I still really love this. I think it was a great ending. My biggest qualm was that I read all 3 of the bonus epilogues. I found them online, and I do think that they should have been included just in the normal one. I don't think it should have been separated, but it is what it is, unfortunately. The inmate, it was fine. I really didn't enjoy this Frida that much, to be perfectly honest with you, so I'm just gonna put in that it was fine. No one is watching. I forget that I read this, which is crazy because I literally finished it like a week or 2 ago. I was disappointed by it. The ending was not great, and yeah. The Unhoneymooners. This used to be a 5-star and I loved it, but then I had to take a couple stars away. So I think I'm gonna put it with What a Fun Read instead. I still really do love this book, but after rereading it, it's just not as good as a lot of the other books that are in the 2 green tiers. So I'm just lowering it for that reason. Small Big Town. It was fine. Didn't really like it. Thought it was boring. A Curse So Dark and Lonely. It was fine. Didn't really impress me that much. She Drives Me Crazy. I think I'm gonna put that with What a Fun Read. It's a really cute little just winter gay girl romance. So yeah, like I wouldn't say expect much going into it, but it is just, again, a fun time for what it is. Okay, so next we have Below Zero, Under One Roof, and then They're Stuck With You. I'm going to go ahead and say they were all fine. Or no, Stuck With You and Below Zero, they were fine. And then I did enjoy Under One Roof quite a bit. So yeah, the short stories just didn't hit for me the way that her other books do, but they weren't bad by any means either. The Ballad of Never After. And then we will also do Once Upon a Broken Heart. So, Are We Surprised? I keep saying Are We Surprised, completely forgetting that the reading vlogs for both Once Upon a Broken Heart and Caraval is only coming out in a couple of months. So, we might be surprised, but I love these books so much. I think about them every day. I'm currently rereading A Curse for True Love. The Very Secret Witches, I'm gonna say What a Fun Read. I don't think it was extraordinary by any means, but compared to a lot of the witchy books that I have read, it's definitely in the higher placement, shall we say. So yeah. Next we have The Guest List. I love this book. This was even more fun the second time around because I couldn't remember who did it and I gaslit myself into thinking the wrong person. It is in my This Video Stops When I Find a 5-Star video, if you want to check that out. Hook, Line, and Sinker. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I'll put it with its partner. There we go. I like that how I said I'm not going to put series together and then I'm fully doing that. My Roommate's a Vampire. I love this. I would put it up here, but I don't think I love it enough to put it up there. But this is the only book that has me like cackling a ton. Like I giggle, I laugh, but I don't cackle at books. I never really have. This is a book that made me cackle, so I love it. It is so silly. I also don't want to put it in I Need This Book Like I Need Oxygen because I have heard that the characters don't have that much chemistry from other people, and I do kind of agree with that. They don't have the best romantic chemistry, but it's fine. I don't care. Next we have The Wife Upstairs. I loved it. This got me into like a mystery thriller mood. I really enjoyed it. Same with Reckless Girls. It's one of those where I don't really appreciate them as much as I should, but I really do enjoy my time with them. It was a really fun mystery thriller. That's like one of those mystery thrillers that you read and you're like, oh, this is why I love mystery thrillers. So, The Fine Print. It was fine. I'm not expanding. You can go watch my video if you want to know my thoughts. It was Magic Steeped in Poison. I don't really know where to put these because they were fine. I wanted to like them more than I did. Actually, I'm gonna say book 1 was a fun read. I really enjoyed my time, but then book 2 was just fine. I didn't enjoy it that much, so I think that's where I'm gonna go put that. And then next we have Caraval. So let's just have the rankings speak for themselves, shall we? There we go. I love this one just as much as I love the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. When you see the videos or when you watch my wrap-ups, you'll see that the reviews aren't as high as the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, but I have not stopped thinking about this series at all, and I definitely do want to reread it in the future, and I think when I reread it, I'll rank it higher. So, as a whole, Stephanie Garber is just a new favorite author. Her and Margaret Rogerson, my top 2. I will literally buy anything they write. I will buy their grocery list. So, next we have Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, which is like a sequel after her and Jack get married, and it was a fun read. I enjoyed it, and yeah, It was a good fun time. It wasn't a favorite. Nightmare Before Christmas isn't really a favorite book of mine, so it was a good time. It was for Halloween and I enjoyed it. Twilight. Everything else is in It Was Fine. I'm gonna put Twilight in What a Fun Read because I genuinely really enjoyed picking up the first book. I was so excited. I was in the mood. It was perfect. So next we have Throne of Glass. So buckle up, get ready. Throne of Glass. I loved Throne of Glass. I keep hearing people apparently don't like book 1. I'm confused. Well, book 2. If I were to have read Assassin's Blade, I would have read it first, but for some reason I didn't. I regret not reading Assassin's Blade in this whole series. That was my bad. Should have done that, but I didn't. Very unfortunate. Regret that I did that, but you know, whatever. So technically, if I would have read it, I would have read Assassin's Blade first and Throne of Glass would be book 2, but because I just read the first 4, it's book 1. But I really did love Throne of Glass. I don't get why people say they don't like it as much compared to the rest of the series. Like, I still think it's a really fun book and a really just fun setup, because normally I find plot setup a bit more boring and stuff, and I love that she just wrote a full book that was really fun to get the character into the situation that she needed to be. Next we have Crown of Midnight, which is book 2 if you start with Throne of Glass. It was fine. I thought it was really boring. Upon thinking back on it now, I'm more interested in it, and if I were to ever reread this series, I think I might like it a bit more, especially knowing what I know going into it. But yeah, Heir of Fire, I love this. This is even higher rated than Throne of Glass. It is one of my favorite out of the 4 that I read, and it was just really fun. And then Queen of Shadows. It's been so long, I don't really remember what I rated it, but I think the problem was I was already fatigued when I read this. So I'm gonna put it in What a Fun Read, because I think if I had gone differently about the Throne of Glass series, I think it would be in I love this as well. So I'm gonna just keep it there for now, but in reality, I don't really know where it goes. Next we have I Kissed Shara Wheeler, and it was fun. It was not at all what I expected it to be, but I had a great time. House in the Cerulean Sea. Here we go. Absolutely love it. I cannot wait for the sequel that's coming out in September. I think about it every day. And I also cannot wait to read Under the Whispering Door. I'm waiting for either September or April, probably April, because to me, TJ Klune's books feel very cool summer. So like the beginning or end of summer, where it's like you can do summer things, but you still have that just little crispness of spring and autumn. So yeah, very excited, very happy. Love that book so much. Next we have Count Your Lucky Stars. I wish I could forget that I read this. It was bad, didn't like it, not good. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. That was a really fun read. I enjoyed my time with it. I can't wait to read the 2 sequels this coming October and September, and it was just really fun. Assistant to the Villain. I would say I loved this. It is a 5-star and a favorite. Upon hearing a lot more of the criticism revolving around it, I do see that. It's just a really silly book, and it's kind of like My Roommate is a Vampire, where it's just like, I just love the silliness of it, and it was just, I was looking for a fun, light-hearted read and not to take anything seriously, and that's exactly what I got. So I really loved it, and I can't wait for the sequels. Autumn's Tith. I'll put this with, I don't know if I want to put it with It Was Fine or if it was What a Fun Read, because it was okay. I think I'll put it with What a Fun, no, It Was Fine. It was fine, and then Autumn's Traitor, which is its sequel, I'm gonna put with I Forgot I Read This because it's not a memorable book in my opinion. No offense to the author. I will be finishing the series just to know how it ends once book 3 comes out. However, not a favorite series at all, and it's not a series that I wouldn't recommend, but just it's like one of those where it's like, yeah, if I knew what I knew now, I probably wouldn't have picked it up, but you know. Red Queen, I'm gonna say it was fine. I enjoyed it, but really not that much, you know. I just don't think the series is for me. The Christmas Bookshop, What a Fun Read, and then finally, Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I'm also gonna put this with What a Fun Read. I am not a time loop person, and that's kind of what that book is, but it is a fun book and I would recommend it if it seems interesting, but also I just don't think it was for me because of the trope. So that is every book that I read. Top tier, absolute, wonderful, insane, amazing, beautiful, cannot stop thinking about, annoying about, we're not surprised. I love this. These are my other favorites, but they're just like, these are like, if I could give a higher than 5-star I would, and these are 5 stars and 4 stars. So, love these. Great time. Nothing spectacular though. It was fine. Speaks for itself. Forgot I read this, and then I wish I could forget that I read this. To be honest, I think a lot more books would be in this if I included my DNFs. If I don't like a book, I'm very quick to DNF it. So yeah, but that is my tier ranking. Let me know if you would have put any of these books in a different tier, and let me know what your favorite book of 2023 was. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye.